very, very much. Huge thanks to Broken Compass for having us. Even, let's give it up again for this crowd. You guys showed the fuck out. This is awesome. Pretty progressive of you guys to come watch three dudes tell jokes on International Women's Day. So, hell yeah, appreciate it, guys. So I'm a little self-conscious because I'm using this notebook tonight, which I usually don't do. But in my 4 years of doing this is going to be my longest set ever. So buckle up. Make sure our butt plugs are in right. All right. Good to go. It's March in the Rockies. Favorite time of year. Spring break. I myself have a pretty classic spring break story. Some of you might relate to it. When I was 18 years old, I was hooking up with a girl in Cancun, and I thought she died in my arms. Okay, yeah. Well, there's a story here. Obviously, she didn't die because I'm here. And yes, did I have one intrusive thought where I was like, do I dump this body in the jungle real quick? Maybe. I don't know. So this gal and I are getting hot and heavy, and she pops my shirt off, and her eyes just roll back into her head. Boom, she hits the bed, she is out cold, unconscious. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Preface, she didn't speak any English, so this was all proffered by a friend of hers. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck do I do? Carry her into the shower, start running the shower on her. She wakes back up, she looks at me, boom, eyes roll in the back of the head, her head hits the bathtub. I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy, spring break. Finally get a hold of her friend who hooked us up, get her back there. At this point, I'm clothed. Earlier that day, I tried to catch a peacock at the resort, and it clawed the shit out of my chest. I had 3 really gnarly, like, velocichicken, friggin'. So when homegirl took my shirt off, my chest was bleeding. She has that thing where she faints instantly at the sight of blood. That was it. I thought she was dead, but no, she was just fainting at the blood on my chest. Mind you, the best part of all this, my mom was sleeping 2 floors above me while this happened. Spring break, baby. I'm glad I'm recording tonight because the silence when I said I almost killed a chick, that's gonna stick with me. That was like the quietest the room's ever been after I said that. That was awesome. So good on you guys. You're not scumbags. Been in Colorado quite a while. I love this state. Very thankful for the people that spend their millions of dollars to come vacation here. But at the same time, I really like making fun of those people just because they make it really easy. And I feel like whenever people are coming to Colorado, they have like a checklist of clothing they have to bring. And this is not technical outerwear. It's like, babe, I got my boys' trip to Breck coming up. Need my Jackson Hole t-shirt, my Whistler t-shirt, my Tahoe t-shirt, 4 puffy vests, and a Hawaiian shirt so people think I'm quirky. Me and the boys, we're taking over Breck. They show up, they get the selfie. Breck's not ready for us, huh? You know what Breck is absolutely ready for? 5 account managers from Iowa puking their guts out on the second day of vacation without 2 seconds. So as Joe mentioned, I live a bit south of Leadville, and I work in Summit, so my commute is 42 miles one way on a 2-lane highway. Now, I imagine this may alienate some of you against me in here, but some people I've really come to detest over the years with their logic is road cyclists. As you know, Highway 91 is one of the most popular bikeable highways in the world. What I don't understand is these people are like, it's a holiday weekend and there's going to be like 100,000 extra cars on this highway. I should go for a bike ride. Now I'm driving into work trying to get high and I have to worry about plowing into some dentist from Boulder on a $10,000 fucking carbon bike. Can't afford to fix your bike, dude. So one thing I love, like when you get to know someone in the American West, Colorado, California people, you meet people that are like very spiritual. Like, yeah, I just live like a really spiritual life. Whenever I meet these people, I'm like, yeah, man, I do drugs too. Yeah, I have a DMT cartridge. They're fucking awesome. I'm what you might call hella spiritual. So we live smack dab in the middle of the woods. Got Got 2 acres that backs up to about 60 miles away in this area. No neighbors. It's pretty fantastic, but you know, turning into a little bit of a hermit these days and getting a little too comfortable doing like relatively dangerous shit with like maybe like half a buzz. A few weeks ago, I just kind of stopped myself. I'd taken a couple of muscle relaxers for my back, and then I noticed I was running a chainsaw while wearing slippers in a row. My wife can attest to this. She was watching me from the living room. I just gotta cut this up real quick. Each day that passes, I can't tell if I'm getting a little older and like a little smarter and a little wiser, or if I'm just turning into a prepper. I'm gonna toe that line every day, I feel like. Oh man, they're coming. They're fucking coming. For what? I don't know. So, I feel like, you know, everyone's on social media these days. Bring it up for a minute. And one thing that's kind of come to crack me up over the years, you know, I'm getting to the age, I have a lot of friends with kids. I don't have them. When, you know, I feel like we've reached a point where procreation has become content creation. Your kids are content now. It's awesome. And it's funny because, you know, people are always like, oh, my kids are the best. I love them. They show these awesome lives their kids live. But there's always like that one post. It's usually mom, hair's a mess, makeup, no makeup. She's in the camera. She's like, I love my kids. I love my kids so, so much. They're my entire life. They're my world. But the 45 minutes I get to myself before they wake up in the morning literally feels better than mainlining morphine. I love my kids so much. They're the best. They're my life. I'm just like a little happier when they're not around. So something else I've come to learn through social media, and, well, I should pause. I've reached a point with comedy where I'm like, am I writing jokes or am I just being mean? And this is one of those cases where I'm just going to be mean. Now, there's a certain group of people I've learned about through social media, and there's a group of men in the world searching for identity. And for some odd reason, they've landed on this thing called being an alpha. Anybody familiar with this?
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, so Andrew Tate, he's the alpha like leader, and he's currently indicted on human trafficking charges. Super tight, and like he raped like 10 girls. So yeah, that's your alpha. I've spent an obscene amount of time engaging with these people online, and I've come to figure out. I've been banned from Instagram. I'm here to bully the bullies. That's what I do. But these guys have like the same energy as room temperature blue cheese. And if you have a look at them, they like more than likely smell their fingers after they piss. That kind of look, you know? And like what fascinates me about the whole alpha thing, it's like, oh, I'm alpha, I'm a lone wolf. It's like, you know, I think they're like not too different than the hippie chicks they like to berate online. I picture all these alpha dudes having like a full moon meetup. They're wolves, like, oh, let's go to the moon, man, yeah. When they bring their January 6th souvenirs, they're like, oh, Nancy Pelosi stapler. I'm gonna charge this in the moonlight. Donnie in the sky, the gay thoughts are back. I really want to fuck Todd. Can you please make this go away, man? I'm an alpha, man. Oh, God, why do I want to fuck Todd so bad? I thought I'm an alpha. God. People like this are why I think about an asteroid wiping out Earth one asteroid. So, something that's come to frustrate me a little bit lately with the internet. You guys know what cookies are? You know how they track us online? Well, I don't think porn should have cookies, because when I'm on Instagram, I don't need to see the gal I just indulged in self-abuse to. I went to a private site for that for a reason. Fuck this algorithm. I'll be scrolling, going, hey, where do I see her from? Oh, what? What the hell? How did she get on there? Jeez. So I work at a ski resort, and I ski a lot by myself. Been doing this for a very long time, and you know, variety's the spice of life. Plus, I'm also just kind of a weird guy, so I like to just be a little strange on the chairlift sometimes. So if I get on a lift full of people and I'm the only one, I'm sitting by myself on the end. If like a bird flies in front of us, I'll just go. I have headphones in the whole time, so I can't hear their reactions, so I'm like invisible in my head, you know? One thing I really started to do recently, it's a lot of fun. If I see someone coming down the mountain that's like really shredding, making some nice turns and carves, each time that person turns, I go, oh. Dude throws a big slash down, I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, God. It won't stop coming out of me. Can we stop using behavioral science to justify why people are assholes? It's like, I'm neurodivergent. No, you're not. You're a cunt. That's it. That's the joke. I'm ADHD and bipolar, so you know, I get rid of that shit. I'm neurodivergent. I like trains. So I was standing in the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and these two dudes were having a conversation behind me, and all I picked up from one of them, this guy goes, yeah, I'm a Honda Civic enthusiast. Sometimes the jokes do just write themselves. But in my head, all I could think was like, that's a weird way to say you take high school chicks to Wendy's on dates. You know how you have your friend circle who you're like a little too comfortable with? The people who, you know, me and my boys were always sending each other dick pics, you know, guys. Your group you get a little too comfortable with. And sometimes that kind of leaks out into your personal life. I was out to eat with some coworkers and we were enjoying a delicious charcuterie board. I took a big bite of brie and I was like, I want this cheese to fuck me. It was quieter than my first joke of the night. The table just kind of looked at me like, Then later in the night, one of my coworkers, they're from out of state, they're like, oh, I can't believe it, man. I almost got on the plane with a weed cartridge on me. I couldn't believe it. I was so nervous. I'm like, dude, I flew to Orlando with 5 grams of Molly in my check bag last week. Like, oh shit, can't say that shit. Fuck. My bad. Okay. Let's keep that one out of the hands of HR, please. So I recently got one of those microscopic ear cameras. Seen those things going around? Most dangerous thing ever. It's this little like sharp thing you just stick in your ear. It's cool though. It's a camera with a light on it. You can see what's happening inside your ear. But ever since I got this thing, all I can think about is shoving it up my butt. It's the only thing I can do. I have a colonoscopy at the end of the month, and I want to call my doctor and be like, hey man, can I just do this at home? Send you some screenshots? Check that box. It's got a little app, you can watch it, yeah, it'd be great. It works. So my lovely wife and I were at a concert not long ago, and it was a bit of a dancier show. We're getting into it, you know, we're feeling up on me. She reaches back to grab my nethers. And then she grabs and she goes, it's all mush. Yeah, I'd imagine the public setting, drugs and alcohol probably contributed to that. Didn't know if we had to point it out. She said it felt like mashed potatoes. I was like, cool, thanks. Cool, yeah, great. I was having a blast. Shit. You ever spend a bunch of time in the kitchen, like really preparing yourself a specific plate of something you absolutely love and enjoy, like your favorite dish, and then you see your partner going to grab a fork? You're like, what's that fork for? What you doing? What do you plan on doing with that? Oh, having several bites of this? No. And in that same light, you know, you're gearing up for like a really big hike. Sometimes I'll look over, I'll be my wife, I'm like, where's your backpack? She's like, oh, you're bringing one. Anybody out there grew up with strict parents? I grew up going to Christian camp every summer, so, you know, that paints this picture pretty accurately. A little bit of rebellion. From the grades of 7 to 9, I was the lead singer of a Korn cover band. I felt the room get a little damper. Humidity. Yeah, and I was like, I wanted to be good, so I made a binder with the lyrics to every single Korn song ever. I had this huge binder full of Korn lyrics, so I could just be like, it was like, 12-year-old prepubescent kid. Well, one day, my mother found my Korn binder lyrics. I came home, the binder was torn apart and shredded all over my room. On my bed was a note that just said, "Timothy, you've stabbed me through the heart." Jesus Christ, Mom. Sweet, sweet. She's 77, 5 foot, she carries a 38. She's a special kind of lady. So you guys remember last year when all those rich guys got made into jelly in a submersible while trying to beat off to the Titanic together? That was my take. Opinion. One man's opinion. Anyhow, as I like to keep my jokes topical, let's talk about the Titanic. After all that news came out, I went back and I watched the movie. I was like, all right, yeah, it's an okay flick. But at the end, I just found this giant gaping hole at the end. When Kate Winslet's up on the board, Leo's in the water freezing to death, and she's giving him the, "I'll never let go, Jack, I'll never let go." She fucking knew she was gonna let go. Alright? 100%. Well, and here's why. She was looking at this guy in the water, and she flashed forward in her head like 50 years. It's 1912, and I'm gonna have to support this broke artist for the rest of my life? This motherfucker's broke as hell. And then she was like, well, he's in this freezing ass water. This problem's just gonna sort itself out. Jack will never let go. She let go. That was it. Best case scenario, she gets some like cool amputee sex from him losing his legs across by herself. I don't know. I'm not here to king shame anybody. So I'm going to get a little preachy for a second. I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Something I want the world to know. That's Billy String sucks. Let me hear it. I love you, yeah, man, I just got no time for it. I respect the hell out of bluegrass musicians. They're super insanely talented dudes. It's wild what they can do with those instruments. But it just seems to me they're most talented at making the same exact sounds for like 4 hours straight. And then there's this the faction of Billy String super fans, who I just call Taylor Swift fans on ketamine. You ever seen a group of white people fishing out in a bluegrass show? Oh, man. She's killed. Billy's leaving it all out there, man. And then they talk about Billy Strings like he was one of the Marines fending Iwo Jima. Billy really left it all out there today. Billy just really left it out there on that like 22nd minute of that guitar solo during that 4th Grateful Dead cover about being by a river. God damn. Oh, Billy just really did it for me tonight. So as I said, I work at a ski resort. Used to work in a department back in the day where I was a manager, and we had a team of 5 managers, an department about 40 people, and in that whole department, out of everybody, we had 2 African Americans on our staff. Now that doesn't matter, but it's relevant to the story. So one of them, he was not an exemplary employee. Dude was getting in trouble all the time, had to write him up all the time, but he and I got along seemingly well. Now just a little precursor here. I had a very large beard at the time, and my face was very tan from skiing a lot that year. So one day, we're in my office, I'm writing him up again, I'm like, Spence, what's going on, man? Like, what's the issue here? He really he gave me a very candid look at what it was like to be a person of color working at a ski resort. It was his first time in his life being somewhere where 99% of the people around him were white. I really empathized with him, and I was like, what can I do to help? So we talked a little more, and then I was like, so why do you, and I asked him, I was like, so what makes you and I get along so well? Because I feel like you fucking hate all the other managers. And he's like, well, I like you because you're Arab. Yeah, all right? So, no, actually, no, I'm not. I'm a white dude. And then we dapped it up. He left my office. I closed the door. And when I closed the door, I was like, fuck yes! Yes! My proudest moment as a white man in history. I have achieved wokeness. So after that, I was like, wait, am I kind of a person, am I a person of color now? I'm wondering what I can get away with. So let's, I'm going to defer to Joe. How about a hard M, soft A? What do you think? No? Okay. A little spice. So I'm 37 years old and I recently ate at Outback Steakhouse for the first time. Don't ask why. But I pretty quickly learned their motto of no rules, just right is bullshit. And there are some rules. Because I was physically and promptly removed for sticking my dick in a neighboring table's mashed potatoes. While yelling no rules, just right. Again, there's a lot of rules. The judge explained those rules as well. Whatever. I told him I was just trying to be an alpha. That's all I got tonight, guys. You guys are a fantastic crowd. Thank you so much.